Walt Disney World. Celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, it's home to the Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom, with 2 water parks, Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon. In addition, there's Disney Springs and 27 themed resort hotels. You may ask, didn't you go to Disney World this summer? Why, yes, I did. We went back in October to join the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the Magic Kingdom. So how did this Florida project dream come true? Let's find out and travel back to 1959. If you're new here, welcome. Each week I create new look using Color Street nail strips, and today's video we're going behind the magic to discover how Walt Disney's dream came true. If you're interested in unique color combos and want to join us on this magical journey, I would highly recommend that you hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In 1959, Walt Disney Productions began looking for land to house a second resort to supplement Disneyland in Anaheim, California, which opened in July of 1955. Market surveys at the time revealed that only 5% of Disneyland visitors came from east of the Mississippi River. At this time, 75% of the United States population lived east of the Mississippi. Additionally, Walt Disney disliked the businesses that had sprung up around Disneyland and wanted more control over a larger area of land in the next project. Walt Disney flew over a potential site in Orlando, Florida in November of 1963. After witnessing the well-developed network of roads and taking the planned construction of both I-4 and Florida's Turnpike into account, with McCoy Air Force Base, later the Orlando International Airport, to the east, Disney selected a centrally located site near Bay Lake. The development was referred to in-house as the Florida Project. To avoid a burst of land speculation, Walt Disney Productions used various dummy corporations to acquire 30,500 acres of land. In May of 1965, some of these major land transactions were recorded a few miles southwest of Orlando in Osceola County. In addition, 2 large tracts totaling $1.5 million were sold, and smaller tracts of flat land and cattle pastures were purchased by exotically named companies, such as I-4 Corporation, Latin America Development and Management Corporation, and the Reedy Creek Ranch Corporation. The smaller parcels of land acquired were called outs. They were 5-acre plots. Most of the owners in the 1960s were happy to get rid of the land, which was mostly swamp at the time. Another issue was the mineral rights to the land, which were owned by Tufts University. Without the transfer of these rights, Tufts could come in at any time and demand removal of buildings to obtain the minerals. Eventually, Disney's team negotiated a deal to buy the mineral rights for $15,000. Working strictly in secrecy, real estate agents in parts of Southwest Orange and Northwest Osceola counties, unaware of their client's identity, began making offers to landowners in April of 1964. The agents were careful not to reveal the extent of their intentions, and they were able to negotiate numerous land contracts with some landowners, including large tracts of land for as little as $100 an acre, with the understanding that the recording of the first deeds would trigger intense public scrutiny. Disney delayed filling out the paperwork until large portions of the land were under contract. Early rumors and speculation about the land purchases assumed possibility of development by NASA in support of the nearby Kennedy Space Center, as well as references to their famous investors such as Ford, the Rockefellers, and Howard Hughes. An Orlando Sentinel news article published weeks later on May 20th, 1965, acknowledged a popular rumor that Disney was building an East Coast version of Disneyland. However, the publication denied its accuracy based on an earlier interview with Disney at Kennedy Space Center, in which he claimed a $50 million investment was in the works for Disneyland and that he had no interest in building a new park. But on October 24th, 1965, after gathering more information from various sources, the Sentinel published another article headlined, "We Say Mystery industry is Disney. Walt Disney originally planned to publicly reveal Disney World on November 15, 1965, but in light of the Sentinel story, Disney asked Florida Governor Hayden Burns to confirm the story on October 25th. His announcement called the new park the greatest attraction in the history of Florida. The official reveal was kept on the previous planned November 15th date, and Disney joined Burns in Orlando for the event. Before his vision became a reality, on December 15th, 1966, just 1 year after the official announcement, Walt Disney died of a circulatory collapse caused by lung cancer. His brother and business partner, Roy O. Disney, postponed his retirement to oversee the construction of the resort's first phase. He later renamed it Walt Disney World as a tribute to his brother. Walt Disney Productions began construction on the Magic Kingdom and the entire resort in 1967. The park was built as a larger, improved version of Disneyland Park in California. On February 2, 1967, Roy O. Disney held a press conference at the Park Theaters in Winter Park, Florida. Roy played a film that emphasized the role of Epcot, and after the film, he explained that for Disney World, Epcot would be included. This experimental prototype community of tomorrow was the utopian city of the future planned by Walt himself. The district soon began construction of draining canals where Disney built the first roads. Magic Kingdom was built over a series of tunnels called utilidors, allowing cast members and VIP guests to move through the park out of sight. Because of Florida's high water table, the tunnels could not be put underground, so they were built at the existing grade, meaning the park is built on the second story, giving the Magic Kingdom an elevation of 108 feet. The area around the utilidors was filled in with dirt removed from the Seven Seas Lagoon, which was being constructed at the same time. The utilidors were built with the initial construction and were not extended as the park expanded. The tunnels were intended to be designed at all Walt Disney parks, but were set aside mostly because of financial constraints. Epcot's Future World and Disney Springs Pleasure Island each have a similar network of utilidors. Magic Kingdom Park opened as the first part of Walt Disney World Resort on October 1st, 1971, commencing concurrently with Disney's Contemporary Resort and Disney's Polynesian Village Resort. It opened with 23 attractions, 3 unique to the park, and 20 replicas of attractions at Disneyland. Split into 6 themed lands, 5 copies of those at Disneyland: Main Street USA, Adventureland, Frontierland, Fantasyland, and Tomorrowland. But exclusive to the Magic Kingdom is Liberty Square. Admission prices in 1971 were $3.50 for adults, $2.50 for juniors under the age of 18, and $1 for children under 12. 24 days after the park opened, Roy O. Disney dedicated the property and declared that it would be known as Walt Disney World in his brother's honor. In his own words, everyone has heard of Ford cars, but have they all heard of Henry Ford, who started it all? Walt Disney is a memory of the man who started it all, so people will know his name as long as Walt Disney World is here. After the dedication, Roy Disney asked Walt's widow, Lillian, what she thought of Walt Disney World. According to the biographer Bob Thomas, she responded, "I think Walt would approve." Roy Disney died at the age of 78 on December 20th, 1971, less than 3 months after the property opened. Magic Kingdom was often used as the unofficial name for Disneyland before Walt Disney was built. The official tagline for Disneyland is the happiest place on earth, while the tagline for Magic Kingdom is the most magical place on earth. Up until the early 90s, Magic Kingdom was officially known as Walt Disney World Magic Kingdom, and it was never printed without Walt Disney World as a prefix. This purpose was to tell the difference between the park at Disneyland in California. In 1994, the park was officially renamed Magic Kingdom Park. Like all Disney theme parks, the official name of the park doesn't start with the article "the," though it is commonly referred to that way. However, a sign on the railroad station in front of the park reads "The Magic Kingdom." Magic Kingdom is divided into 6 themed lands. It is designed like a wheel with a hub in front of the Cinderella castle. Pathways spoke out from the hub across 107 acres of the park and lead into these various lands. Main Street USA, the entrance of the park, where you can find shops like the Emporium or food and snacks like Casey's Corner or the Main Street Confectionery. Heading to the hub of the park, you are greeted with Walt and Mickey Mouse and Cinderella's castle. Now, if you turn right, you are headed into the future, Tomorrowland, with attractions like Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin, Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress, Space Mountain, and soon Tron Light Cycle Power Run. Fun fact about the walkway to Tomorrowland: it's actually double the size of the walkway to Adventureland, which is on the opposite side of the park. This is because statistics show that when people are forced to go right or left, they go right. Hence the Tomorrowland walkway being larger. Next to Tomorrowland, you will find Fantasyland, which is broken up into 3 sublands. Castle Courtyard with the castle, Peter Pan's Flight, It's a Small World, and Prince Charming's Carousel. Storybook Circus, formerly Mickey's Toontown Fair, it houses the Barnstormer and Dumbo the Flying Elephant. Enchanted Forest is part of the expansion of New Fantasyland, and it has rides like Under the Sea, Journey of the Little Mermaid, the Be Our Guest Restaurant, and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Next up, we have Liberty Square, which is the home to my favorite ride, the Haunted Mansion, as well as the Liberty Bell Riverboat and the Hall of Presidents. This area also has the Ye Olde Christmas Shop and Sleepy Hollow, which has some of the best desserts you can get in the park. Hop into your covered wagon, we're headed to Frontierland, where we can ride the wildest ride in the wilderness, Big Thunder Mountain, or you can find your laughing place after riding Splash Mountain. Rounding out the park, we have Adventureland. You can grab a Dole Whip and sail to the Caribbean to visit some pirates. And of course, you can't miss the 8th wonder of the world, the backside of water at Jungle Cruise. There are of course many more attractions at the Magic Kingdom, but these are some of my favorites. Since opening day, Magic Kingdom has been closed temporarily because of 7 hurricanes. The first non-hurricane related day the park had closed was on September 11, 2001, due to the terrorist attacks. Walt Disney World was closed from March 15, 2020 to July 11, 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. On October 1st, 2021, the Magic Kingdom celebrated their 50th anniversary. This 18-month special event will feature new rides, new fireworks, and entertainment at all 4 parks. Cinderella's castle has received a beautiful new look with blue bunting, golden spirals, and a 50th anniversary crest as part of the royal makeover of the world's most magical celebration. There are 50th anniversary banners throughout the resort, 50 special golden character sculptures, 50th anniversary merchandise for guests, and the characters have new wardrobes with blues, purples, and iridescent colors. October is not only a celebration of the 50th anniversary, it's Halloween time at Walt Disney World. In honor of the spookiest time of the year, let's go behind the scenes of the Happy Haunts attraction, the Haunted Mansion. The idea for the mansion precedes Disneyland, dating to when Walt Disney hired his first Imagineers. In 1951, the first known illustration of the park showed a Main Street setting, green fields, Western Village, and a carnival. Disney legend Harper Goff developed a black and white sketch of a crooked street leading away from Main Street by a peaceful church and graveyard, with a rundown manor perched high on a hill that towered over Main Street. Disney assigned Imagineer Ken Anderson to create a story using Goff's idea. Plans were made to build a New Orleans-themed land in a small transition area between Frontierland and Adventureland. Weeks later, the New Orleans Square appeared on the souvenir maps and promised a thieves' market, pirate wax museum, and a haunted house walkthrough. Anderson studied New Orleans and old plantations and came up with a drawing of an antebellum manor overgrown with weeds, dead trees, swarms of bats, and boarded up doors and windows. Disney, however, rejected the idea of having a rundown building in his park. He said, "We'll take care of the outside of the mansion, and the ghost will take care of the inside." In 1961, handbills announcing a 1963 opening of the Haunted Mansion were given out at Disneyland's main entrance. Construction began a year later, and the exterior was complete in 1963. The attraction was previewed in a 1965 episode of Walt's Wonderful World of Color, but the attraction itself didn't open until 1969. The 6-year delay owed heavily to Disney's involvement with the New York World's Fair, 1964 to 65, and an attraction redesign after Walt's death in 1966. After the fair, many Imagineers, such as Mark Davis and Claude Coates, contributed ideas to the project. By this time, Ken Anderson had left the project. Rolly Crumb showed Walt some designs for his vision, which included bizarre objects like a coffin clock, candleman, talking chairs, man-eating plants, tiki-like busts, and a mirror with a face. Walt accepted these ideas and wanted to make the proclaimed Museum of the Weird, a restaurant side to the now-named Haunted Mansion, similar to the Blue Bayou at Pirates of the Caribbean. Though his concept was never realized, some of the aspects were implemented in the final attraction. When Walt put Imagineers Rolly Crumb and Yale Gracie in charge of creating the visual illusions of the attractions, they intended to make the Museum of the Weird into a separate section that guests could walk through and discover illusions from around the world. Guests would be able to see transparent ghosts and other apparitions using the Pepper's Ghost technique used in theaters since the early 1800s. Crumb and Gacy were eventually given an entire warehouse to house their developments, and one evening forgot to switch off the mechanics before leaving for the day. The cleaning crew was met with a surprise as Crumb explained, "Once we got a call from the personnel saying that the janitors would not be back." Mark Davis and Claude Coates, two of the mansion's main designers, disagreed whether the ride should be frightening or funny. In the end, both artists got their ways when Ex Accento combined their approaches and ideas, creating a transition from the dark foreboding to spirited entertainment. The ride narration was performed by Paul Frees in the role of the ghost host. The attraction's theme song, Grim Grinning Ghosts, was composed by Buddy Baker. It can be heard in nearly every area of the ride. After Disney's death, the project evolved significantly. The Imagineers objected to a walk-through attraction's low capacity, going so far as suggesting building 2 identical attractions to accommodate twice as many guests. A solution appeared with the development of the Omnimover system for the adventure through inner space. Renamed the Doom Buggy, the system's continuous chain of semi-enclosed vehicles offers high capacity. The cars could be set to rotate in any direction at any point, allowing the Imagineers to control what the guests saw and heard throughout the show. And because each car held from 1 to 3 people, it was a convenient way to divide the guests into small groups. A better fit with the story of people wandering alone through a haunted house. The Haunted Mansion was an opening day attraction at the Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World. During the production and assembly of the props and audio animatronics for Disneyland's Haunted Mansion, duplicates of everything were made for Disney World's Haunted Mansion, with the exception of the outside. Since the mansion is set in Liberty Square at the Magic Kingdom, they couldn't have a New Orleans-inspired building in the middle of 18th century colonial America. Imagineers designed a mansion with a Gothic rival style. It was decided that the Florida version of the attraction would be slightly longer and more elaborate than the California counterpart, featuring a library well stocked with ghost stories and staring marble busts of the greatest ghost writers, a music room where the shadow of an invisible pianist can be seen on the floor, and an endless staircase room. Paul Frees recorded additional voiceovers, including the ghost host, to accompany extra scenes in the ride. In the Disneyland park, the actual ride is on the other side of the railroad tracks, and the stretching room is an elevator that takes the guests down, and they walk underneath the railroad to get to their doom buggies. But as we learned earlier, because of Florida's high water table, they couldn't dig a tunnel for the stretching room to go down, so Magic Kingdom's Haunted Mansion guests travel up to get to the main ride entrance. The Haunted Mansion can be found at every other Disney park, spreading the happy haunts worldwide. Thanks for hanging out with me today. See you real soon!